Hey guys, once again, thanks for your support. So, guys, I've been running all different types of defensive shells for over the years, and I wanted to provide some type of an ebook for you guys to see some of the things I do. You might pick up some strategies, defensive strategies that you don't use that I do, and obviously, if you guys have ideas that you want to share with the patrons, please go ahead and do so. We're going to be using New England as our playbook. Basically, what we're going to be using with in this scheme. I'm going to focus on probably a handful, just maybe 4 or 5 formations that we're going to use. 34 is going to be a formation we're going to take a look at. 41. We're also going to be taking a look at probably the nickel double A gap, and then we're going to be looking at the dime 2-3, and then also the dime 1-4. We might build off of this and add a couple more formations, but I really wanted to kind of give you an idea of some of the things I'd like to do on defense in particular. So I'll put timestamps right here where you guys can see where you can access different stuff, but we'll come back and add on stuff, and I might actually re-record this particular playbook breakdown. So let's take a look at 34. This is a base defense that I've been using for quite a long time. We have our audibles for 34. We've got Cover 1 Robber, Storm Brave, Cover 3 Sky, and then Tampa 2. We're going to leave the Cover 3 Sky and Tampa 2 is the same. Cover 1 Robber, I'm going to swap that out, and the play that I like to use is going to be the Cover 4 Quarters, not drop, not Cover 4 drop. It's going to be Cover 4 Quarters because I want to have some matching principles. Storm 1 Brave, I want to go ahead and have basically my guys manned up, so we're going to use the pinch buck O as our base play. Our audible setups, we're going to use match coverage. Tackling, we're going to use conservative, and option, we're going to use conservative. You don't have to do tackling conservative, but that's just a thing that I like to do. You can obviously do aggressive if you're running a lot of cover 2 and stuff like that. Option, I want to do conservative. I want to take away that run option. If I'm playing against someone who's got a slow quarterback, I might jump into aggressive going after the pitch, but I like to do that. And then base align is going to be how we're going to run the alignment with this. I leave my quarterback setups when I'm running this formation like so. Now, out of the huddle, I'm going to go ahead and call cover 6. I like this because it splits the field for me, and it's just a base play that I can jump. I can have as my audible. Then I switch into other formations. I'm going to go ahead and pinch our linebackers down, and then go ahead and blitz all linebackers, and then I try to blitz those outside guys too. And as a user, I like to go ahead and play the guys on the ends, and the reason I like to play the guys on the ends is because these guys can have better leverage to hit an outside pass, basically giving that pressure to come in. So you could see the quarterback actually made a broken tackle, but this is a high pressure type defense that people have to accommodate for. He's going to have to block 7 to be able to pick up this blitz. And the reason I use the edge defender as my defender I'm going to play is because I want to go ahead and preoccupy this tackle to basically get the edge guy coming in and then the guy in the A gap coming in. Not giving the 6 blockers to do that, and it just kind of take away the reads from there. So go ahead and set this up again. We're gonna blitz all, and I'm going to go to the side that I think that I'm going to have more of a threat. I've got a cloud flat off to the left. So we're just going to go ahead and user white over here on the left side. And with that, we obviously got a run play, and you're going to have some pretty good run fits. So let's just go ahead and set this up. All right, so we got another blitz. We've got a outside receiver on the left-hand side and the slot receiver, so he's an immediate threat. So that's why I'm going to go to this side right here, and I'll let him try to throw that ball like that. It's not a huge deal. I want to have that pressure coming in. Now, if I want to run coverage, I can run coverage like so. I'll just run the coverage. And basically, I'm playing 3 rec hook, so I'm playing a 3rd wide receiver. So you've got this guy out here. He's in a cloud flat. My preference is to go ahead and put him into a soft squat. Then he'll match this defender. So he'll actually go ahead and match the defender up the sideline. And then he'll get support over the top. And then I've got this guy right here who's going to match the number 2. So if the running back goes to the outside, he should go and support that running back to the outside. So my responsibility is to shade off any kind of a route that comes over to this side with the cover 6. And I've got a quarter flat deep zone right there. So really what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look for any kind of a crossing route, and then go ahead and just block up the run like so. So we got one defender, one wide receiver on the one side, so we're just going to go ahead and set this up like so. And my responsibility is to play this 3 wide receiver if he comes over the middle field, because everything else should be locked up. And you can see right here, I'm sitting right there, and that's fine. You know what I mean? If he waits for this for that route to get over, he's got a defender that's going to be out there. So this guy falls into that passing lane. He didn't react to it, but now this guy's peeling off. He's going to the flat route, and the running back actually, the quarterback actually threw the ball right into the seam. My responsibility is to take this guy away, so I actually go ahead and do this, and you got this guy on the flat. These aren't the best pass defenders, so it's all right. We're just setting this up so we have that set up. All right, so you can see how I've got 3 receivers off to the left, and then I have 2 receivers off to the right. So I'm just going to go and simply flip the play, and I'm going to use the 3 ruck hook guy. That's how I'm going to run this defense. And obviously, if he runs, I've got some pretty good run support. He's only going to pick up a couple of yards like so. So if I've got basically 2 receivers on both sides, so I've got a balanced look, I'll jump into Tampa 2, close up and show my opponent the same type of a look, and then I'm going to go ahead and maybe blitz this guy down, and I'm going to go ahead and take my outside guys and actually put them into soft squats. And what that's going to do is it's going to turn down some matching principles against these wide receivers. So you can see he falls right into that zone with this play. So you can have a lot of people that use a lot of slants plays or crossers over the middle. You take a look at this right here. He's going to let this guy off because it's his zone. He's going to come down and play the flat. He's falling back into that passing lane. I'm falling back in the passing lane, and he actually throws it right to my defender, who falls right in that passing lane. So this slants concept is pretty much was gobbled up like that. So I can go back into Tampa 2 when I've got a look like so. So one of the adjustments I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my outside defender or outside corners and put them in soft squats. And I'm going to take my my user and actually put him on a blitz or put him into a deep third. I find that it's a little bit more consistent with deep third, but these guys should match up. And I've got a bunch of guys in the box that essentially can go ahead and take away the routes. So now cover 4 is a good base defense to use against somebody you expect it's going to run, and you can just run it stock. And I'm going to use this guy because he's he's essentially my free agent. He doesn't have any kind of run pass responsibilities. And all I'm going to do is just go ahead and try to take away any kind of like reads that he would try to hit over the middle of the field. So just going to go and jump into this again. A really good play to go and jump into when you got trip set. You could flip it, but I want to support myself. So we're going to set this up once again. And you can see how pretty much everything's locked up against the computer right there. So coming in right here with the pressure, and I can go ahead and take away that fast read to the running back if he chooses not to do that. So that's what I love about this particular play. You obviously could jump into the man version of this, and if I'm going to go after the guy with the man version, I'm going to go ahead and use the defender that should be over the running back, preferably on the edge, so I can take that fast read away. So that's how I'm going to run that. So these are good base defenses to use. One of the things I'm going to do, I can jump into cover 3, and I like to go ahead and play sticks. So you're going to hit your triangle button, hit sticks, which is the left bumper, and then I'm going to go ahead and shade my defensive line, my defense down. There'll be hard flats, and I'm going to go ahead and use the stick icon. And this is designed to essentially go ahead and make an opponent make some reads, throw stuff underneath. So if you got a guy that's quick snapping, you just go ahead and hit sticks. And this will kind of give you a feel for what type of offense he's going to use, and just keep everything in front of you and just see what type of plays and routes he likes to develop. So what you can do is you can do like sticks play, play the sticks for one, like for the first down, see where he likes to go with the ball, and then to mess him up, you can jump into like cover 4, and when he's in matching principles, that's going to catch him off guard, that he's going to start seeing guys chase. So that's what I like about it. So good defense, just to use a base defense. Obviously, you don't have your best guys out there, so you have to take that into consideration. But this is a good way to go ahead and approach that. So cover 4, pinch-o, cover 3 sky. I like to do is just basically is play the sticks and just zone drops, and then I jump into Tampa 2 and sometimes blend in basically cover Tampa 2 match type coverages. So let's go ahead and jump into the next formation. All right, so the next formation we're going to take a look at is going to be the dime formation. It's dime 2-3. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make sure I have better edge rushers. So what I like to do is I like to change my package where I put my defensive end pass rush. I've been have better pass rushers out there when I do that type of a change. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change the following audibles. So cover 2 and the silver shoot pinch, I want to swap those out. I've pulled out cover 6 invert and put it back in. I'm going to leave it in because it does help support some trip sets, so we're going to go and leave that in. Cover 2 man, we're going to swap that out for basically cover 4. That's going to be the formation we're going to use, the cover 4 porters. And then silver shoot pinch. I've kind of played around a bunch of different plays, and I think I'm just going to settle into this particular play, which essentially is going to be the blitz, not the silver shoot pinch, but actually the overstone brave. If it was a little bit more consistent, I know what to expect. I'm going to have coverage behind it. Now, I played around with a couple different formations and base plays. I was using the slant zone 3 or the cover 3 bluff. I find myself, I get myself out of position, so it's more consistent to use this figure play as your base play, which essentially is going to be the double safety blitz. The goal is to get safeties down, to play the run a little bit better, and then actually go ahead and mess my opponent up with making reads. Now, we're going to go ahead and run this against random gun deep offenses, and we're going to go ahead and make adjustments accordingly. Okay, so anytime I've got more wide receivers, I got 3 receivers on the left side of the field, I'm going to use cover 6 as my base stuff. Now, since I've got basically a 4th wide receiver, I'm going to do the following adjustment. I'm going to go ahead and just user this guy out and then play peppers off to the left. So I've got 2 deep quarters. I've got a quarter flat guy off this side right here. That's how I'm going to go ahead and play like a quad set like that. Probably not going to see a lot of it in the game. Now, this is basically a 2 set, single back running back on the side. So what I can do is I can jump into cover 2, and one quick adjustment I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring up my linebacker adjustments. I'm going to blitz all, and that I'm going to use this guy. Now, by blitzing all, this activates matching principles. My responsibility as a user is to take away the 3 wide receivers. So that's any kind of wide receiver that comes from this side plays in the middle of the field and vice versa. If the running back goes out to the wing, I'm just going to go ahead and play that route right over the middle of the field. So you can see pretty much everything was locked up. That flat was open. But it's a good way to kind of stop those type of routes. Now, see, I've got trip set over here to the left side. What I want to do is I want to jump into cover 6 is my base play. I'm going to blitz all. I'm going to take my defensive line and pinch these guys down. My responsibility is to cover the 3rd wide receiver with this, because the other 2 wide receivers are going to essentially be covered up with cover 6. And then obviously you've got our run fits out there. Run's pretty much shut down because everybody's playing run fits on that side. So 2 wide receivers on both sides. We're going to jump into cover 2, blitz all. And then I'm going to play the 3. Whoever comes over the middle of the field is going to be my responsibility, and it's going to be this matching right here. You can see how I actually chased that one guy and I had matching principles up at the higher level. So just showing this to you, just how I make my reads. My responsibility is to take anybody that crosses over the middle of the field It could be this tight end. It could be the number 2 guy right here, and it could be the running back. If the running back goes to the outside, I'm not going to take him, but really what I'm looking for is anybody crossing over the field, and that's my responsibility. I'm going to do that. Now, if I got 3 receivers off the left-hand side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do quarters press. I'm going to blitz all. I'm going to take my outside edge rusher and put him in a hard flat. Now, what that does is it takes away any kind of flat route off to the right side, and these guys should match up the middle of the field. And you can see how, like, all this matching principles are going on. There's really nowhere for the ball to go. So what I do is I want to go ahead and take away that fast, flat route that an opponent might go ahead and throw. And then I've got matching principles that are going to take away some reads. And I've got these guys matching too. And this guy's looking for work over the top of the field. So you can see how this guy comes over, plays. I've got a user over the middle. I'm actually going to be falling into that passing lane if he tries to throw it. So that's what's good about this. When I've got a double set, cover 2. If I anticipate a run, I'll go ahead and take my defensive line and shade him off to the left side and user over the guard. That way I can shoot this gap right here if I anticipate the guy to run. What you can do is you could do the overserve brave. And unless he blocks his running back, this is going to get another guy out there to go ahead and just make things a little bit more difficult. He has to look for man reads. One thing I did notice is that when you do have these rolling safety, double safeties looks, you actually have the ability to put these safeties in outside thirds. So you could take your left of screen safety, put them into a deep third. You could take your right of screen and put them into a deep third. And what this does is it kind of gives you just a different look. Those defenders will get out a little bit further, out to the sidelines a little bit further. And might be able to catch your opponent off guard. So that's one of the things you can do with that. So what I like about this defense is that it does have a pretty good front against the run, but it's also going to give you 6 defensive backs out in the backfield. I like it is that it's just a rare look that most opponents are not going to see. There is a problem with this defense is that you can basically be exposed at the top. Sometimes opponents will, if they got the speed and leverage, they'll just throw over the top of these type of coverages. So you have to take that in consideration. But if he does not know where to go with the ball, you can actually get some pretty good stops. So let's go and jump into the next defense. All right, so the next formation we'll take a look at is going to be the dime 1-4. There's other variations of this dime package that you can jump into, but I find the 1-4 is always going to get the linebackers into the gaps, which gives a more menacing look against your opponent. Now, we have the following audibles. We've got cover 2 man, we have DB sting, we've got cover 2 sink, and then we have basically the cover 3 sky. I'm going to swap out cover 2 sink for this play, which is going to be the Okie roll 2. The DB sting, which is a very popular play, I'm actually going to swap that out for this play, which essentially is going to be the Mike strong safety 1 dog. In cover 2 man, I'm going to swap that out for cover 4 drop. And out of the huddle, I'm going to call Okie Eagle 3, which is Okie Eagle 3 is my base play. Now I'm going to run this once again against random defenses, and then I'm going to go ahead and make my adjustments from there. Now, what I've been playing around with is basically either going ahead and using the blitzing defensive back, which should have pretty good direction as my user, and I'm always going to go ahead and take that guy and go to the strong side of the field where there's going to be, say, 3 wide receivers and kind of make decisions from there. One of the things I will do is I will play the sticks with this here play, and what this is going to do is it's going to take defenders and actually drop them to the 10-yard marker. And my job essentially is to try to defend against the run. This is not a very good defense to run against the run. It's more of a pass defense and try to give my opponent kind of a weird look more than anything else. But my job as a edge defender is actually go ahead and make sure I clean up the outside gaps, you know, the far side gaps. So I'm going to go ahead and use this guy over here. I'm going to go ahead and do zone drops. The seam on the right side is actually kind of a vulnerable area. So a lot of times what's going to happen is if I see that that's going to be, you know, an area that my opponent's going to go to, I might actually use the middle, the dropping safety. And I'll go ahead and use this guy. And what I can do is I can take this guy and put him in a bluff blitz, or I can put him into a vert hook, and he'll play a seam play for me, and then go ahead and look for work if the seam is not available. So that's kind of like the way I like to run this. Now, I really don't run it for the cover 3 than anything else. I actually run this for more of the cover 2 Okie roll. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use this right here, and I'm just going to play cover 2 match rules and just try to look for work. So screenplay, you know, obviously can go ahead and screw up a cover 2 match. But I like this particular defense against anybody that runs empty sets like this, because they're not going to be used to this of seeing this type of stuff. You can see how that actually just everything got locked up, and I was able to go and play the deep ball against him with cover 2. So that's where I really like this formation, is against empty sets. I've got the rolling safety, and then I'm just going to go ahead and look for work right there. So the cover 3 guy, the 3 wide receiver was my responsibility. I should have played a little bit tighter on that. Now another play I jump into to catch my opponent off guard is going to be the cover 4. And it's usually better to go ahead and play the zone drop, because what I can do is I can take the inside defender and put him on a curl flat. And then I'm going to use this guy over the middle of the field and just kind of play the cover 4 shell. This will mess people up going against cover 4, and it's actually a lot more stout with the run too. So I'm just going to do one quick adjustment and drop my guy down here. And I've got a bunch of guys just dropping back into zones, and it's sometimes he's not going to read stuff like that. I can jump into cover 3 sky and once again play sticks. And all these guys they're going to play pretty good run fits, and then they're going to fall back into zones for me too. So that's you know what's cool about having cover 3 sky. You know, these guys are going to drop back in the zones and see if he can settle down below. So it's a good like 3rd and long type play to go ahead and use against your opponent if they need to get yardage and they need to move the ball down effectively. The last adjustment would be like doing man coverages. And what I like to do is I like to take my outside edge rushers and put them into seam flats or hard flats. And I'm going to use this guy, but you can see everybody else is locked up, and I got a deep safety over the middle of the field. This is going to be a little bit more effective against the run, because pretty much everybody's playing run fits except for the deep safety. And I don't have a responsibility because I'm an edge rusher right here. So this is just going to put a lot of people all over the place. The only downside of running this defense is that the quarterback can scramble on you. So sometimes it's better to have these guys in hard flats opposed to like seam flats. So they're playing down, and if the quarterback scrambles out, then you can send them. So you can see I can send that guy down, and actually he'll come after the quarterback if the quarterback goes to the outside. So this is a defense I've been using for a long time. I really would say it's unique. No one's running this type of a defense, and it's just something really can catch your opponent off guard. So let's go and jump into how I'm running basically the double A gap defense now. Now, there's a couple different ways you can run double A gap. I want to talk about a new defense I'm going to be labbing. And the only adjustment we're going to make is we're going to go ahead and change from base to man. And we're going to go ahead and run the cover 1 hole. We're going to flip this particular play off to the right because I want to pull down my blitzing safety or free safety or whatever. So it really depends on my defensive alignment, but I want to pull a safety down. So how I set this up is I'm going to go ahead and take my defensive linebackers and shift them off. I'm going to take this guy, blitz him, and drop him down in the box and pull out. And then I'm going to blitz my linebackers. Now, my responsibility with this particular coverage is to go ahead and take my edge defender, whoever's going to be playing the running back, is I'm going to go ahead and play that edge defender and come in if my opponent tries to block 6 with this defense. So set this up, pull this guy down. I'm going to play this edge defender like so. And if I have time, I'm going to shade in the inside. I want to force my opponent to throw to the outside because I can set them up for an interception if they don't look at that correctly. But you can see what this does is it does a double A gap pretty consistent, which most people are not used to seeing. And I can quickly adjust into this. All I have to do is drop this guy down into the hole and let go of him, and he's going to be in that A gap fit. And all I'm going to do is use the defender that's going to be over the running back and the tackle. And if the tackle basically, if the running back blocks, I'm going to go after the tackle, engage the tackle. So I'm going to roll this guy down and then click off once he gets into the hole. That way I can quickly adjust this. And if he beats me on the run play, that's fine. This is all about defense on the for pass. Drop this guy down. And we're going to go ahead and usually hold the trigger button. But you can see how the pressure comes in. And, you know, he's going to have to get away with some type of a crazy pass like that. Now, what's cool about this is that you can start playing mind games with your opponent. And you could pull this guy down. And you could do something like we've done earlier on other plays where we can go ahead and take seam flats like this and put a deep zone out there. And now I've got coverage all over the field. That's going to kind of catch him off guard. So I was thinking about like some other defenses we can run. We can run a cover 2 invert instead of Tampa 2. So what you could do is you're going to show your opponent kind of like basically the same look. But now you're basically going to have like a cover 2 shell. So I might put a soft squat out there so he actually takes the vertical route, because my safety help is going to be in a bad place. But this is just a good way to change things up against your opponent. I really think if I'm running this play, I'm going to essentially go ahead and run this play where I'm just going to be blitzing against my opponent, you know, using man coverages the entire time. And I'm going to try to blend this in. But, you know, I want to force him to try to get rid of the ball, and I want to have those A-gap pressures. So this is just, you know, just another way that you guys can play around with defensive schemes. And then you can blend in like other types of coverages just to keep your opponent, you know, off guard and guessing. So once again, guys, thank you for your support. I'm going to go ahead and try to drop more stuff on this defensive ebook. And I'm going to do a write-up too, just to go ahead and give you something to reference in as far as writing is concerned. So thank you for your support, guys. Until next time.